1130 Podcast and 1130 Entertainment presents Beyond 1130.
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your man Dre, aka Dre on the Wheels. Welcome everyone to a live episode of Grown Folks Talking Beyond 1130. Thank everyone for tuning in. Appreciate it so much, man. We live here on the 1130 Podcast YouTube channel and live on the 1130 Podcast Facebook channel. So you guys, whether you're joining on either one, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Come on and tune in, leave a comment, and share it, and definitely like the 1130 Podcast Facebook page, and definitely subscribe to the 1130 Podcast on YouTube. And now we got that out the way, man. It's going to be a great show. I got a panel of gentlemen joining me on this week's live edition of Beyond 1130, you guys. Yes, I have a few guests that's going to be joining me in, man. More going to be coming on as the show rolls along. But first up and foremost, he's the host of the Cognac Room Podcast, my guy Jay. We're going to bring on Jay right now here on Beyond 1130. What's going on? How's it going, my guy?
What's going on? All is well. How are you?
Doing wonderful,
That's
man.
great.
I appreciate you coming on the show, man. This is the first time we collaborating and doing some work, man. So I appreciate it. How like treating you also?
Oh, everything's wonderful, man. I appreciate you
Okay.
having me.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it, my guy. Appreciate it. Also, you guys, our next guest joining me here on Beyond 1130, my guy William, man. First time guest here on the 1130 podcast YouTube channel and all across the board. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be dope. But Will, what's going on? How's it going?
I'm great. I woke up this morning. All my appendages there. My digits work. Life is great.
Hey, that's what's up. You got to be grateful, man. Life is precious. But I appreciate you, gentlemen, joining me here on this live episode of Beyond 1130. Got a few other gentlemen that's supposed to be joining me, but we're going to kick it off, and we just going to jump into some few topics, man. With guys' night tonight. First topic foremost, man. And also I'm gonna play a video as well. We're gonna jump into this video, and also I'm gonna go around with you guys and give you guys thoughts on this video. You guys may have heard it, and it's been circling around over social media and the entertainment world, and just the world in general.
I feel like my son's robbed of his childhood. Now he's having to be a father. He's a victim, and he's gonna have to live with that for the rest of his life.
This mother says watching her son struggle with the reality he now faces breaks her heart.
What has this been like for your son?
It's caused him a lot of depression. He's shut down a lot.
Now she questions why this woman won't face prison time.
I feel like if she was a man and he was a little girl, it would definitely be different. They would be seeking incarceration. And I feel like because she's a woman, they're not. They're having compassion for her because she was pregnant. But I don't think they take into play, again, she was pregnant by a child. You know, that child was created from a sexual abuse.
Under terms of the plea deal the suspect signed off on, she'll be required to register as a sex offender, and the judge could sentence her to 10 years to life of sex offender intensive supervised probation. But Serrano will avoid any jail time since the DA's office dropped the original charges to a lesser charge that does not come with mandatory jail time.
What should other parents be looking for?
Don't trust anybody, honestly. I mean, you can't trust anybody now.
Okay. Right. That video has been, going around the situation. I know some of you guys may have heard it about the 31-year-old woman who had sexual relations with a 13-year-old boy, and also she's having this baby, but she would not face jail time. And first topic that we're gonna go around is double standards. So you heard a little bit in the video when the woman said, if it was a guy, then it'd have been a totally different story. I'm gonna start with Will. You talk about this and also double standards.
Yeah, if it was a guy, he'd have been under the jail already. Like it wouldn't even been no trial or anything. He'd just been straight 30 years. I think it's disgusting. Sexual assault is sexual assault. I didn't want to use the R word because shit gets shut down. But yeah, man, it's crazy. Like that's disgusting. Like
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't understand like how they can even fathom letting her off easy like that. Like no trial or anything. Like you just scot free because you pregnant. I know several women that's locked up pregnant. Like they had a baby, they shipped the baby somewhere, and they put them back in the cell. So I don't understand what's going on.
You're right. You're right, Jay.
Yeah, same. It's very disgusting. It's very disturbing. It bothers me that the young lady is not being incarcerated for her offenses. Society, in and of a whole, definitely has a lot of double standards when it comes to men and women, and it's just something that hopefully will improve over time.
Yeah, you're right, and hopefully it do prove over time. But it seems though for generation, there always been that double standard with men and also with women though.
Yeah,
And if it was a man, it would have been like you said, it would have been a totally different situation though. But the fact that she was a woman and she was pregnant, she got off no jail time, and like what's going out, what's going on with that? Like how you guys how you guys feel, about the double standards, and what you guys feel like is the number one double standard out there, like as far as men and women.
mm, that's a good question.
That's a good question.
Yeah, the number one double standard.
Well, I
Okay,
will preface it with this. I will
okay,
preface it with this. Life is unfair, and nor should it be. I learned that a long time ago from a wise
yeah,
man. And at first, when I heard it, I didn't really understand it. But it's like, how do you become better as a person when you don't face challenges?
right,
So, all double standards are not necessarily like catastrophic, but some are like, all right, really, this is what we really doing.
yeah,
But go
Mm.
ahead, you can go.
yeah.
I just want to give preface.
No, I'm with you, and so I do hold one opinion that is not popular with the ladies. Anybody that actually has heard me speak before, I try to be fair. I don't bash the women and spare the men, and I don't bash the men and spare the women. I try to keep it equal. But when I see something that I personally don't agree with or think is wrong, I'll call it out. So one of the double standards that I think is really a big problem is the fact that a woman has the ability or the choice to make a man become a father, but she reserves the right not to be a mother if she so chooses by way of abortion, right? I'm not saying that it shouldn't be, that a man shouldn't have to accept his responsibilities, but the woman herself also should be required to accept her responsibilities. And now we have these abortion laws, which are kind of pushing more so for that. But then that's a whole nother can of worms. I'm not gonna say I agree with that either. You know what I mean? So it's it's a mess. It's a
Okay,
mess.
I agree. Well, welcome in then in the panel. My guy Mario J. What's going on, Mario? How's it going?
What's happening, man? How y'all guys doing?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up? How's everything?
Mario,
It's been a
Hey, I'm
while.
good, man. I'm loving the people in this on this panel, man.
Yes. Some great gentlemen, great guys. We was just here talking about double standards and also the situation that went down with the 31-year-old lady who had a baby by the 13-year-old boy, and also double standards as far as men and women.
Yeah.
Want to go ahead and get you want to go ahead and get your thoughts on it and tap into it.
I mean, as far as the situation, I'm not really as familiar. I kind of saw some memes and stuff like that on social media, and just speaking, being able to, I guess, responding to the topic itself. I think it is a double standard, and I mean, the biggest thing, of course, when we think about our own children. And I think that's the biggest double standard for us as men a lot of times. When it comes down to it, if we were back in school and the teachers looked the way they do now, we always had that conversation like, man, the teachers didn't look like that when I was in school. They look like this. And we
Hmm.
laugh and we joke about it and we're just like, man, and we get these little Instagram teachers like, man, y'all leave that teacher alone. She's just coming to teach. And until something happens like that, like I had to really take some thought into it because of course we had our teachers we had a little crush on, stuff like that. But when I look at my boys right now, there's no way I want that for my boys. And I started off with the boys because it's automatic with the girls. It is absolutely automatic when you're talking about your daughter in school and you look at this man as a predator, as an administrator, someone that's supposed to be trusted. But I started with the boys because a lot of times, we look at our boys like, okay, well, hey, we almost give them a pass. We almost give them room to understand this or that as boys, but we have to teach our young men just the same. And when it comes to those teachers, they are very much predators, even as women, because regardless of whether or not, she got pregnant, you're still talking about this very adult woman and this adolescent, this kid who's yet to find himself, and still, and that's a trusting relationship that's supposed to be there for the purposes of education and him being able to grow and understand what decisions to make and so on and so forth. And the other part to that is, I'll end it with this because I can get long-winded about this one. But the other part to that is, as young men, how many of us could have possibly lost our virginity or had some experience with an older woman that we had no business being with at the time, but we didn't see it the same way because of how the times were.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
I
definitely.
I agree. I agree. I definitely agree. One thing that you said that was very interesting also is how the double standard is with, our boys and also. And I think, because I just had a 8 month, old boy and, he's gonna grow up, to be a young man and stuff like that. And I always, chat with my fiance and it was like, oh no, he a boy, but if he was a girl, it'd be different though.
Totally different.
Right.
Why do you think it's more so like obviously, we want to protect, our baby girl and the world is totally ugly out there and we as men we know how it is though, so if you guys want to talk on that.
Yeah, I think that for us, for our generation, we were raised that way. We were taught that, hey, certain things are okay for you because you're a boy. Boys can do
Mm-hmm.
this, girls can't. Like, and so I grew up with that mentality. And even now, I look at things and I'm like, well, boys are a little tougher and they can defend themselves a little better and they may have a little more, I don't know, vigor or whatever. And, females tend to be, a little softer, a little more sometimes pliable, easily influenced, whatever it may be. It just, that stigma is there. And it may not always be the case, but I know for me, that's it's been embedded in me like that. So I think that's one of the big reasons that a lot of us have that mindset.
Okay. Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh
I,
man.
I think it comes from the way we look at how men are experience the world. We're taught we are nurtured, we're natured, not nurtured. So it's like we're taught to be hunters. We got to go conquer. We got to go kill. We got to go steal. We got to go take. So it's like all that gets conflated as you're getting older, and it's like you learn about women, and now it's oh you ain't get that, you ain't take that down. So so it can be confused that hey, if I want the best woman. So when you like in
Right.
school, it's the best woman, the oldest woman. You get what I'm saying? So now you're confused of yeah, I want a teacher, even though it's highly illegal, but that's what you want. It's that machismo we pass down. It's that I want to
Yeah.
be better. It's the ego. Like we
Yeah.
learn to feed our ego early on, and
Yes.
some people never learn to overcome their ego. So what they do,
Right.
they pass it down. So it's
Yeah.
it's it's a lot of different ways you can look at it, but that's how I see it.
Okay. Okay.
Good stuff.
Mario, you have
Man,
anything to add? Okay, go ahead.
when it comes to that, it's I agree with both the brothers first of all. Um my biggest thing is the foundation of like your upbringing, where you come from, what's at home. Because I know for me, like, I mean, it's crazy we're even having this conversation. My oldest three are girls. My youngest two are boys. And when my oldest daughter first decided she wanted to date, just starting right there, I said, first of all, I hear them talking about it, but I'm old school, even though I'm not old enough to be as old school as I think I am. So, but my thing is, I told them, I said, I hear y'all talking, but just know nobody's coming by my house that I don't know and I haven't met. I already don't let I don't even let adults come to my house unannounced. So I'm not letting an unfamiliar person come to my house. And they have to come up. They can't pull up and wait for you outside. Nobody pulls up to my house and waits for people to come out, unless it's my mother or my mother-in-law and they ain't finna get out. So it starts there. And the reason I started there is because a lot of times everybody doesn't have that same foundation. So when you get to a space like around around 13, 14, I had an older woman trying to talk to me. I was interested in artwork and football. It was instilled in me, when you go to school, this is what you're looking for. Yeah, I like girls, but older women weren't that thing. So when it came down to me liking somebody, I weighed my options. Do I want to go to practice for football, or do I want to go talk to this girl at this particular age? Now, as I got older, they kind of almost weighed the same. But initially, by that time when they got real close, I understood what I was responsible for and what would be completely irresponsible. So when you get to this point where we're having this discussion as men, this is where you really look at your sons and your daughters, and you have to understand that there is no difference. Yes, of course, we're gonna look like I will probably have a pistol ready if it's my daughter. If it's my son, I might not be ready to pull the trigger, but I'm close. We having a really hard conversation because I still experience that double standard mindset
Yeah.
because I'm thinking about, this is my girl, this is my daughter.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to it, I'm like, you're not even allowing her to grow into a woman, because women pretty much have that strength in mind when it comes to nurturing. They have a lot more patience in most cases. And if somebody ruins that, how is she able to raise the way we were raised? Or how is she able to give the way we were given and poured into? So I'm looking at my daughters like that. But at the same time, I tell all my kids, I say, look, the way I'm having your little boyfriends come and make sure they're respectful, I'm raising my boys the same way. So my boys know, when they see y'all, if they want to laugh because I made your little boyfriend come to the door, knock, speak, acknowledge, sit his ass down, and understand I'm getting to know him, it's going to be the same way if my boys go to somebody else's house. That father doesn't have to stop them. If I find out they have a problem, because that's how I'm making sure my boys are raised, and we have to understand, we have to hold them both to that standard, because otherwise they become that small-minded predator, not even realizing
Hmm. I definitely like that. I definitely
Yeah.
like that. You got you Mario, man. You said it. You said it right. You said it best, man. And it's a lot of double standards, when it does come to that, though. Like I just said, for the girls, you very overprotective, and for the boys, you more so like, okay, I got you. I got my eye on you, though. But especially if that's your son and stuff like that. So double standards is something that to keep talking about. Okay, if you guys ever any other thoughts or opinions on this topic before we move on to the next
I'm cool.
okay, all right. We're gonna move on to the next one, you guys, here on Beyond 1130. Black men normalizing mental health. Over the time, especially over the last couple of years, especially with the pandemic, black men has kind of like been normalizing mental health. I talked about it recently on the podcast, and how growing up, black men was always kind of like frowned upon on, especially if they speak out or say how they feel or talk about their feelings, and it always kind of like don't really go too well. And I want to, ask you guys, how do you guys feel about black men normalizing mental health and just mental health in general in the black community?
All right. I'll go. uh,
it.
so so I used to be one of those black men who like literally was not an advocate of mental health and mental health services, in the sense that, like, I felt like if you had to be crazy in order to really need mental health, right? And so in recent years I have become a very big advocate of black men pursuing therapy or counseling when needed, because I realize that there are a lot of trauma responses that we were and are unaware of. I think that it was, for me, it was always looked up on or frowned upon, because it was almost like it was a thing of weakness. Like, you're weak if you need to go to somebody to get some counseling. You should be able to kind of work your way through things. And, I never had any mental health issues that I acknowledged as such or anything like that. But I realize now how important it is. Like, I can't put my standards on other people. I can't put my experiences and my thoughts on other people. And so I feel like if a man needs, someone to talk to at any moment for anything, it definitely needs to happen, because, sometimes we just don't have the answers. Sometimes we just don't know where to turn. And so I support it fully now. So I've gone from one extreme to another. And the reason is just because I've seen how there's an increase in mental breakdowns and things of that nature amongst black men.
Okay, I dig it. I dig it.
Now I do. I want to say this before I forget it, because you said something, Jay, that really made me really think about how I came to where I am about supporting the normalizing of mental health in
Mm-hmm.
black men.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times we have a bad understanding of what mental health really is, and because like, and there are a lot of people, not just men, just there are a lot of people that, how many times have you been going through something and all of a sudden you're by yourself, gassing yourself up to try to figure out what you gonna say, how you gonna say it, so on and so forth,
Mm-hmm.
and you're answering the situation to yourself and actually saying, man, when I get there, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna do this, I feel like this. Doesn't he or she know this, so on and so forth? At that point in time, you're going back and forth in your head, and it's coming out, and you're trying to figure out how to deal with situations. And a lot of times people don't equate that with where your mental health may be, to
Mm-hmm.
understand that you have to have a focused mind in order to get your point across. And I know with
Mm-hmm.
myself, yes, we all use choice words, and it doesn't mean that you're small minded because you use them. It's, can you really express how you feel whenever you start to verbalize whatever it is, whenever you start to deal with certain situations? What does it take for you to really focus and channel that right mental energy into anything? And for us men, we've always been told how we should do something,
Right.
rather than
Mm-hmm.
understanding that we all not only process information differently, we learn differently, we express differently. So we get to a point where you have two men that become overly sensitive, or men who are too, exhibit too much testosterone, too much strength, because they're trying to find that balance. And a lot of times we're not shown that, but we're not told. Because I mean, it's hard for somebody who hasn't gone through what we have to go through from that era long before us, because they had to be that. They went through and they were taught by men who weren't allowed to be themselves. So when they're in a space that they're in trying to teach us, I have a project I worked on, it was called My Black, and I talked about my father, because my father wasn't really a part of my life all while I was growing up. And there's a line on it, and I don't remember any of my stuff, so this had to be big for me. I normally freestyle it, I'll write it, I'll express it, and if I feel it, it gets published. So there was this line that I wrote. It said, "I never knew my father. I never knew your father. Never knew how he was. But if you're an example of him, I can't be mad as your son." So the thing about it is, we get taught so many different things as men, but we're never taught how to be ourselves and try to figure out who we are, so we can be strong, know when to be submissive in relationships, know when we should take the lead, know how to take a partner, understand what it means to actually coexist with another person and not feel minimalized, not feel demeaned, not feel like we don't have to be on the defense because our minds are in so many different places, even as men. And a lot of times they'll say women mature faster. But the thing is, we all suffer from that same issue of somebody telling us how we should be, whether it's people learning something from what they went through or them getting to a point as to where what didn't work for them, oh, it's got to work for you. Let me try it again. And then we become a project of everybody who raised us and everybody who knows who we are. And now we're just pieces and parts of everybody else's vision but our own. And as men, we can't afford that.
Hmm. I like that. I like that. Mario, you said one thing that was totally dope because as parents and also we kind of like as guys too, we kind of like pass on how to be taught. Do you guys think that's a another way, or do you think double standard plays in that way also of how guys are just supposed to grow up and be tough? Guys supposed to grow up and not cry and just not just show their feelings and just be manly and not get accepted by society.
Raw.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
But again, that's
Yeah,
that
I
that's
mean,
the machismo
yeah.
being passed down. It's like you got to be tough. You know, you get your bike stolen. What the first thing they say? Go get your bike back. Like, oh, hold up, like
Yeah, go get it. Do you know
you're not
how
gonna go
big
with
that guy
me. Like,
was?
yeah,
It
you
was
better go
five
get
of
that
them.
bike back, or I'm gonna whoop your ass. And like, yo, you're not gonna go with me. Like he took it for a reason. Like, because I couldn't stop him. So yeah, it's definitely a double standard in the way men are
Hmm.
raised. You know.
I mean, and the thing about it, we all got to realize that it's okay to still be in that receptive phase to be able to learn something. I think when we get to a point as to where when we realize as men, some of us, and some of us all the way, some of us some more than others. Sometimes we get to that point where we start shutting people out. We stop taking suggestions because so many people have poisoned the water that it's like, nah, dude, I got this on my own. Because if I've gotten to this with you giving me your advice, hell, how worse can it get if I just strike out on my own and say, forget it. I'm not trying to take counseling. I'm not trying to take this or that. And before I even go off into that, I gotta say, counseling is great, whether it's
Absolutely.
relationship counseling, single you, just you by yourself getting counseling, just you. I'm not just talking about talking to a friend because I was a heavy advocate. I'm not about to pay somebody to listen to me and give me advice. I was a heavy advocate of
Mm.
that a long time ago until I realized when you have a person like what we're talking about right now, I'm not the professional. Jay's the professional. I'm not the professional. I just have an opinion that sounds good with a dress on. So, but the thing about it is, you have those that are vested in the progress of mental, spiritual, physical well-being of the people that they come in contact with. And us as black men need somebody that's not going to take it easy on us, not just to give it to us raw, but to give us truth, give us something that we can hold on to that is unbiased, that we can use. Because a mind's man, see, a lot of times we say that women are nurturers, and that's absolutely true. But how many times have women had to flip and have to be the strong person? So guess what? That means that us as men, sometimes we have to nurture. There are fathers out there with their children. There are fathers out there.
Hmm.
Not saying that'll never replace a mother. But when a man's mind is set on what's normal for him, although he knows somewhere in there is not healthy, he's missing something. He needs to get the help he needs in order for him to continue to grow and succeed as a man, especially a black man, because having to deal with everyday life and then deal with the fact that you have to always be on guard. There's a balance that needs to take place. So you have to really look at your mental health and exercise it as often as possible.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. You're right. I like it. I like it from you guys, man. You guys got all great points, and like I talked about it multiple times, black men normalizing mental health is the thing to do because, like I said, we all grew up as guys. Like how you guys shared was, you wasn't big on therapy. You thought maybe you were just crazy or something like that, or people just don't want to. reach out and talk to someone. So like
Mm-hmm.
even with this podcast, we reaching out and chatting with someone, and someone could be somewhere suffering inside and just feel like no one cares, or no one, you know, uh, uh, no one is there for them or such.
Right.
But like black men especially, we have that stigma of definitely, being tough and having the world on our shoulders, and feel like we gotta be Superman and be this and be that. And sometimes in certain cases for some black men, they feel like it's nowhere, no person or nowhere to turn to. So yeah, black men normalizing mental health is definitely, um where's that? Definitely, where's that? I'm gonna share this video. We're gonna come right back.
As black men, we are asked because of talent to carry everybody. We are not made to carry everybody. And at some point, you gotta have
that motherfuckers go through, and it's like, bro, they like niggas, it's on front street. It's just like until a motherfucker break down or die, it's like, it makes sense now. It makes sense now.
Mario, you have something to say? You was about to say something?
I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's 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 crazy that it's like that, man, because it's like that in a lot of senses, and it brings me back to me growing up. We normalize so many things that are toxic to the black man. We normalize so many things that have really held us captive within a space that we don't even want to be in. Like, we don't want to disappoint the people who probably do us the most harm.
Mm.
And the thing about it is, we don't look at that in the same light as Munchausen syndrome. We don't put all that in the same pot when it comes to black men. We're held to a standard of that we don't want to live up to because that's not who we are. And
Mm-hmm.
then you place the responsibility of being a black man on our shoulders. What does it mean to each and every black man to be responsible for being a black man? Understanding what your role in it is. And see, when you and first of all, when it comes to a man's mental health, he has to understand that there is something holding him up that's bigger than he is, and he has to walk in that purpose for himself, or else when he gets weak, he's going to feel like there's nothing he can do. He's going to feel very impotent, meaning powerless. He's going to feel very depressed. He's going to be down. And then if, let's say, he has someone that he's with, he's married, he's dating or something, let that person say something during that period that's going to add to it. So now not only can you not navigate with your children, with your significant other, now you can't even hold you up, because now the simplest thing takes you to a space where you're in disbelief that you could even possibly be better than what you are at that time, because the world is
Yeah.
going to continue to show you that all black men do is this. And what do? We argue that no, they don't. But what happens when we're by ourselves? We are our very true selves when no one else is around. We're exactly who we need to be and want to be when nobody can hear us. Now, the only way to really step up and walk in our purpose is to get that mental health exercised by someone that is professional, someone that has, like my man said in the video, has nothing to gain, someone that is vested in your progress as a man. Being a man is one thing, and don't get it twisted. Me, I don't apologize for what I believe in. I don't argue what I believe in. Anybody who knows me understands that this is what I believe. So don't ask me where my energy comes from, because I'm gonna tell you. So at the end of the day, where my strength comes from, I got 5 kids, a wife, I kicked the dog out, and we straight. So so understand, please understand, where my strength comes from is understanding that when I can't handle something, I don't
Mm-hmm.
try to. We have to understand that as men, when it's something we can't handle, something we can't put our hands on and control, it ain't for us to put our hands on and control. But you got to have and exercising of your mind in order to understand it. There are things that are bigger than you that are working on your issues. But what you can do is you can take the time. Number one, you meditate. Get in a space where you're away from the noise, where you're away from everybody trying to tell you what works for them. As soon as you quiet that noise, your focus is going to go to the one person or the people that say the things that you need to hear, even if you don't want to hear them. Now you don't have to come back and apologize for being upset, for doing something you probably should have done a long time ago, but you decided to hold back. And when you hold back as a man, it comes out aggressively. And that power that you feared would turn into an anger, that you fear would turn into something uncontrollable, that they wait on us to show so they can shine that dark light on us. That's what you don't want to release. So when it comes down to it, you want positivity around you. And the only way you can do that is if you get away from the noise and see, and excuse me for saying this, and let me know if I'm out of line by saying it. That's when you get away from the noise, you get closer to yourself by getting closer to God and allowing Him to speak, and however He speaks to you, not the way they say it in church, not the way they say it when somebody else does what they do, not the way the one who sit on the front pew says, not the one who's always in Bible study, not the lady who always shouts and her dress flies up, not the one that's in the pulpit that stands up and salutes everything the preacher says. None of those, because I have never in my life been in that space the way those people have. But what I've been given is vision as a black man and how to do what I need to for my family. And even in my flaws, I still welcome the help. I still welcome the spaces where someone can talk to me. And you have to be in a space where you're receptive of something being said to you that maybe you don't know. And it's not about changing your perspective as a man or a black man. It's about growing that perspective. If you ever took any math class in your life, there are 300 ways to get the answer. You just have to figure out which way the teacher wants it. Now, in this case, you can be given 300 ways to be the best version of you, but you have to want to be a better version as a man, as a black man. You can sit and argue about everything that the system is, you feel like the system was designed to do, or you can realize that even though it wasn't designed for you, it was designed for a man at a time before they considered you to be a man. But now that they don't have a choice but to consider you as a man, now you can use it to your advantage. So educate yourself, sit back, meditate, get away from the noise, and allow God to use you so you can grow.
Man, for real. Mario shutting it down. Mario
Yeah.
shutting it down with the dope responses. I dig it.
Yeah.
I dig it. Another thing that I want to add to that, do you guys feel like mental health does play a big factor, definitely in the black community, in the black man's life? Because sometimes, like Mario said, and like me as well, my father, wasn't in my life as well. Having that father figure in the house, but my mom did her awesome job raising all four of us, but I think a boy also, needs that, father, figure in his life growing up, especially in the teenage years when he's going through a whole bunch of stuff though. But and also to add to that, what do you guys what does being a black man in America means to you guys?
Mm.
Well, that was two questions, right?
Yes.
When I heard the second, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I definitely don't want to go behind Mario because I know he's just gonna blow it out the water.
Man, don't do that,
Off
man.
first. But I don't like saying the hood or the ghetto. Like I call it high pressure environment. So I grew up in Baltimore City all my life, and Baltimore is a very high pressure environment. And so you go out, you got to put this facade on, you got to be tough just to survive. But the problem is, where's the balance of knowing when to turn it off? So you got a lot of people who
Yeah.
out in these streets and they take it home with them and they don't never turn it off. So when they home, now they being tough to the girl, their wife, their kids. And it's like, you don't have to go to sleep tough. You don't have to wake up tough.
Mhm.
You only need it when you're outside. So yeah, you really need to. And for my mental health journey, I recently got a therapist, been going for a year and some change now. And I had to talk to a couple of people who are actually in therapy to understand what am I walking into. Because a lot of people fall short thinking, I'm gonna go see this therapist, they're gonna fix me, and my
Nah.
life gonna be better. That's totally wrong. It's 100% the wrong idea. So they told me, hey, when you get there, listen, get the tools, and do the work. That's
Keyword
it.
tools. Yep.
That's what you're going to get. You're going to get tools to operate and have a better understanding of how your life is shaping up and how you got the way you are. So a lot of people don't have the tools necessary to operate switching back and forth between these environments. So that's where a lot of problems come. Like we all put on some type of facade when we leave our kingdoms and our homes, but you got to have that balance. So you got a lot of people walking around with these facades on, bumping into each other. Somebody stepping your shoes. Now you ready to shoot, fight, and stab. Versus, I got another pair. It's cool, bro. Just keep it moving. Be careful next time. Hopefully, I answered the first question.
Yes. Jay.
And the second one was the second one?
What was black man? What does being a black man mean
Ugh. All right, let's just take the first part. Y'all take that. Let me think about this one.
Yeah, that's a deep question. What was the first one? What was the first question again? I'm sorry.
The first question was, hell, it was kind of like off the top of my head. The first question was basically, do you think mental health plays a role definitely into the black man and the black community, um, lifestyle? Because sometimes,
Yeah.
like Amorio said, and also myself, sometimes wasn't not raised with a father figure in their life.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, definitely. As much as I was not an advocate of mental health and never felt like I needed any assistance or any type of counseling, I do realize that not having a father in my life for the majority of my life did affect me in other ways. You know what I mean? So I got involved in the streets because I didn't have a father figure in the home. And I looked up to the big homies or whatever, and I got involved in a lot of craziness. And so I believe that in our community as black men, one of the reasons we don't seek mental health or mental health assistance is because we've normalized the BS for so long. You know what I mean? I'll give you an example. I told this story on another podcast I was on or something. I was at a bar and I in the hood and I was sitting outside. This was like a couple of years ago, and I was eating my chicken. I had just got my chicken. I was hungry. We heard gunshots, so people started kind of getting uneasy. And they're like, man, you don't hear those gunshots? I was like, man, those gunshots over there. I'm eating my food right now. And then this guy that was standing over there, he was like, trauma, bro. He was like, that brother's traumatized, like to the point that, you know what I'm saying? And I laughed it off, but I went back and I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? How insane is that? That I'm so numb and like, what's the word? I'm desensitized.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That this is normal to me. So we normalize the BS and we don't realize that this is trauma and this is stuff that we need to kind of like get some help through. You know, I can be sitting right here and a fight break out right here, and everybody's scurrying and moving. And I'm just kind of like, oh, it's a fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that's disturbing. In retrospect, that's disturbing behavior. It's almost like, I won't say that I don't value myself or that I don't value others or that I don't think something crazy can happen, but it's just like, this always happens.
Yeah.
So when we normalize like the craziness, okay, like the things that are trauma responses, if they're normalized and we never feel like we need to seek help for them because this is just the way it is. Yeah. And it may not be violence in the hood. It may be dysfunctional relationships with your woman. It may be bad parenting skills, but it's normalized, so you don't think there's anything wrong with it. And at the root of it, there's an emptiness, there's a hole, there's something not, meshing within us. You know what I mean?
I get you. And I think normalizing that also becomes you also become a product of your environment as well.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, and see the thing about it was, like he said, like when you normalize that type of thing, like I grew up and I didn't know this, mind you. This still goes back to your foundation of what you were taught, the space you were in, because our parents only had limited information. You know, right now we're more forward thinking because our generation started a lot of what the movements are today. And I'm talking about in terms of technology, in terms of education, in terms of mental health, what we're talking about right now. A lot of our generation started that. So our parents weren't able to equip us with the open mind to see it. So when it started with us, that's when it's like, oh, okay, this is new. Okay, this might work. And so it's just like the kids now, they get on the newest thing, the most popular thing. When it became popular to support black people, guess what they did? They started to support us. When it became profitable for them to support us, that's what they did. And if you look at what's happening in different areas, when it became when they got scared, when something happened and a black person was attached to it and they thought they would lose, they detached themselves from it. And I say this not to go straight black, but you have to understand the operative word in the phrase black man is black. Because even though we would like to consider ourselves, hey, I'm a man first, yeah, we are men first, but we also have to keep in mind that we are black men. You cannot get away from that adjective. I don't care what circle you sit in, what table you sit at, what group of friends you have. There is still that. And regardless of how many strides we've made and how many people tell you that we should move past something, you can't move past it because number one, now that we've gotten to a point where there's opportunity, we have to understand how to recognize opportunity. The opportunity right now is, do we accept the help? Do we reach for the help that's reaching for us? Mentally, physically, spiritually, how do we function as black men in our home? We always focus on the physical strength. But what happens in depression? We let ourselves go. So if our mental is not right, we're not eating right. Guess how much we drink? And believe me, I keep a good glass. But understand something. Once we start leaning to that glass, we stop leaning to the understanding that we should get. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm the first one to tell you, you can have a balance of both, but you first have to understand, where is your mind when you run into these situations? Are you running towards this person over here yelling and screaming, it's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong, or are you trying to empower?
Right.
You have to first empower someone in order to spark change. You have to empower your mind. That is the strongest tool in your body. I don't care what you believe in. You do not have to believe in what I believe in, but you got to be a damn fool not to think something divine is somewhere for the way your body heals. Why do parts of your body heal sooner than others? Why does it take so long for your heart to heal? Why does it take so long for your mind to forget? So if you know you got to go through all this stuff, you need to strengthen the strongest muscle in your body, and that is your mental health. And as a black man, you have to understand you're not standing on your experiences. And a lot of people, they discount, they discredit the fact that, oh, they went through that. I don't go through that. I've even heard people say, hey, I don't experience racism, from your regular everyday to your celebrity. They've said this.
Yeah.
But do you not understand that generational trauma does not have to be only in your lineage? Because guess what? They pass that on to friends, to family, to co-workers. They pass that on. And what you were taught that you should be a certain way. And as you experience and go through life, you're carrying all that weight and you don't even know it. So when your mental health is weak as a black man, you can't really fully support your family, because before your girl ever tells you that working at Burger King and McDonald's is inadequate, you've already told yourself, let me be defensive as soon as she got anything to say about what this paycheck looked like. When she comes in and I got that sun visor on, she better not say shit. She better accept the fact that I was able to use my discount and feed our family because I'm doing my best. We get defensive about so much, and we get to a point as where as black men we become unappreciative and we don't know how to recognize mentally what's good in our life that we can build on. That is mental health. If your mind is not allowing you to open up your space for somebody or something that's good for you, that's your mental health. And like you were saying earlier, Jay, a lot of times you were thinking, "Oh, that's for somebody crazy. That's for somebody who don't have it together." But guess what? Do you really understand what not having it all together looks like?
Mm,
Do
yeah.
you really understand what being crazy is? What's
Mhm.
classified as crazy? Because a lot of times people will watch and wait, but they will use you and use you up until you get to a space where you're fed up. And I tell my folks, I tell my family, I tell my employees, I tell everybody, look, don't wait till you get fed up to consider you and your well-being,
Right.
because then you're going to attack it aggressively and you're not going to be focused. But if you can do it with a mindset to be conscious of what you're doing, you don't have to worry about missing a step. You're going to be open to progress. You're going to be open to the success of you, because even if you're going to continue to be a fool for somebody, you got to have the strength to do so.
Yeah. Yeah.
I dig it. I dig it. I dig it. I like it a lot, you guys. Man. We're gonna move on to our next topic here on the show. Some of you guys also may have heard this news or surrounding though. I want to give you guys
Mm.
thoughts on it though. The Russell
I
Wilson
seen that.
Ciara's wife exposed. Married woman and all, married woman and all, with Russell Wilson showing up at the Oscars and stuff like that. How would you guys feel, if this was, your wife and you showing up
We
at the
ain't never that
Oscars?
famous. We ain't never got that much money. I don't care what
What
you
happened?
say.
What happened? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
hey, you know how all those people go to the Oscars and award shows and big events, and the woman comes out and basically she has on underwear or nothing, and then a cover up that you can see through.
Got you.
Mhm.
Is that how
That's
she came out?
Yeah. She
Yes.
came out with the wide net. She trying
Mm,
to catch sharks with that one because the
okay.
holes were big,
Okay.
and she had the pasties
Ah,
on and the thong. So
I'm. Can I start with this
ride with it, man.
Okay.
Ride with it, Jay.
Here's the thing, bro. Um, I have a deep appreciation for the female anatomy, for the female body, right? To the point that I appreciate it, and if I have a woman that has very nice curves, I personally don't have an issue with her wearing form-fitting things and things of that nature. However, there are boundaries and there are limits. But if when I met you, that's how you were dressing when I met you, and I wifed you up, all I can do is shut the fuck up.
Right. I agree.
You understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
I agree.
I
I
agree.
agree.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm totally,
I
I
definitely
totally
agree with
concur with that.
that. Well, see, that's why you got to make that decision early. You got to see if your mental health wasn't in a good space,
Mm.
and you looking at all that, you like, oh, let me scoop up for somebody else do. But what happens when now you gotta walk with that,
Yeah.
Right.
you know? And I gotta say this part because I gotta give a shout out to my wife. I really do, and I say that because with my wife, like, to me, she's incredibly beautiful, and she has those curves. But one thing about it, she's so conservative and conscious of the fact that no, I'm not gonna do this just because I can. This is who I am. And even in that regard, you can't tell me that a woman walks out and say, "Hey, one day I just want to walk out and just be naked and everybody see this." You know, and so my thing is those things are done intentionally. And see, my wife is intentional about how she presents herself. And then when it comes to when we go, she'll say, "Hey, I'm with my husband. I'm gonna wear this. But my this and her this is not that this."
Right.
Mhm.
So when we do something, it may be something a little bit out of the norm, but it's based on us. Now, if that's how they ride, that's how they ride. I'm not judging anybody. But as for me in my house,
Yeah.
you know, I'm comfortable, I'm secure in mine, but why put it on display in a way that, you know, is just is in a way that, I mean, everybody needs to understand this XYZ. Because number one, when you have somebody that you're with significantly, you understand better of what makes sense for you and that person, and not what makes sense to keep up appearances. I don't care what it looks like. What is it really? This ain't the Walmart picture frame with the happy-go-lucky going in. So I don't have to keep up an appearance for somebody to put me on a Hallmark card. We're gonna ride how we ride. And if that's how they ride, cool. But if it's us, again, because something like that's an invitation to me off the clock, outside of the camera, away from the friends. That's when we go get some cocoa butter and see what it do.
I totally, you know, what Jay said. You know, if Ciara, if that's what, you know, she wore before she met Russell Wilson and she been doing that, then, you know, I'm gonna zip it though. But me personally, they are a married couple now. Whatever they do is whatever they do. That's their business though. Married couple, and she showed up at the Oscars where, you know, every picture is gonna be taken of just about everybody and just about every celebrity as well. But I feel like, you know, also what Mario was saying, that was a little intentional in a way, because don't you would think that you would keep that private, be like, okay, you know, I got some respect for my man to not even, you know, want to go out in public and, you know, have all this ass out and, you know, just nipples just, you know, going back and forth. Like, I mean, me
He
personally, you know, I'm
thinking
not.
right now. He thinking like, hold up, huh?
You know, I'm not telling no woman ever what to dress or anything like that, but just like Mario said, like, this is, you know, for, you know, if that right there was for a man, that was just for a man. I don't think that was necessarily for the entire, you know, public to see, and more so like an invitation, you know, to whoever.
Yeah, I just hate the argument of why do we hold celebrities to such high standards? Like, we expect them to be God and show this perfect example. Like, it's the Oscars. It's a controlled environment. So I don't know how much backstory y'all actually know, but it was a theme for the after. It was an after party. That wasn't even the Oscar show. So the after party theme was barely there. If you saw anybody else dressed, they were dressed exactly the same way. So it was like a controlled environment. Like, do we really expect women to walk around like that on a regular basis, like on a regular Tuesday? No, we don't. That's not realistic. But I will say, and I'm not in a relationship right now, and I don't believe in telling women what to do, how to do it. I believe in individuality, but at the same token, us at the bottom level and living in real life, there is a representation that y'all have to have for each other. Like, I'm not going to go outside and do something to misrepresent my woman or my wife, and I would expect her to reciprocate that. So
Right.
I wouldn't want her to come out like that, but what can I really do? If we together, it's cool. You with me? I know who you going home with, but girls' night, I don't want you dressing like that.
I don't want to fight you. I don't want to fight you on this. And I fully respect it. I love women. Like Jay, I love the female form. Like you, I fully respect the individual. But my woman's not going out like that. I'm gonna say that because I'm gonna say this because the woman that I choose to be with and that chooses me, we're both gonna know and understand. The attention we get is gonna be natural. The light that shines on us is gonna be a natural light. Anything that's outside of that, that's not of us, it ain't even necessary. Because like you said, we place celebrities in this on this pedestal, we put them in this certain light. And it's almost like, you know, a lot of times when they post those relationship goal photos and stuff like that, it's always somebody's celebrity.
Yeah.
But do you really want what they have? Do you really want to be in that space with them? Because I don't want to be in any form of life in a relationship where my wife and I go to an event so big that she got to go with no underwear on.
Right.
And it ain't based on me.
Right.
And it ain't based on me.
Let's not forget that celebrities are in the business of getting and maintaining people's attention. You feel me? So with that being said, you know, it's a different game, different rules, man.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I agree with that.
And like you said, Jay, if that's how you met him, then you can't stop him because that's how you were attracted by it. And that's how
Ciara
Ciara.
made goodies.
So
Ciara made goodies with Petey Pablo.
exactly. We were not mad at that.
Oh man, you guys got great points, man. I dig it. I really dig it all, man. But like I said, me and my woman, we going out. I don't think, just like also like my guy Will said, that representation, just not going out in public, showing everybody, your goodies and stuff. So I don't know.
We ain't gonna make it out if you walking out like that. We're gonna be late for whatever it is we going to. I'm just letting her know. So you gonna have to change that either way it go, because we finna make a mess. You're not finna go out like that.
Yo, this has been a good one, man. For real. Definitely a good one. Thank you guys, man, for real. Jay, the host of the Cognac Run podcast, my guy Will, Mario. I appreciate all you gentlemen, man, coming through here on an episode of Beyond 1130. Before we leave everyone, man, tell everyone about your podcast. Tell everyone where they can catch it at, some links, what you guys got going on. Whoever want to go first, man.
I'm gonna go last.
I don't know how y'all swing, so I was gonna say just go clockwise.
Okay.
I'll start it off. All right. So, like you said, Jay Christian, host of the Cognac Room podcast. You can find me on all of the podcast players: Apple, Spotify, iHeart, all that good stuff. You can catch me on Grind City TV on your Roku channel. Download the app, or you can go to Grind Cities /show. I think. and you can watch it in your browser. You know, we are a podcast. We are a drink infused podcast about adulting and male and female interactions, and we generally release an episode every week. Go over there, check it out. I'm also a dating and relationship coach, so give some good advice and some good tips along the way, and I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay, cool. Mario.
I'm Mario J, host of the At the Sound of My Voice podcast. It's poetry, and you get the explanations of it. It's a little bit like some of the other ones when it comes to the purpose in it. I just use poetry to get my point across. You pretty much can find me on every platform. You can also find me at channel82network.com, which is CH8TY network.com. You can go there and also watch some other things that are there. I'm actually building a network with the Channel 82 network. But go listen to the podcast. We're about 190 episodes, couple of seasons. It's completely non-traditional. So if you want to go to sleep to it, have like a real mellowed out voice and experience. I don't know if you can see the smoke that's coming through here, but I just recently bought a diffuser, and it's just a real cool vibe to just kind of chill out. If you at all heard anything I said, I normally have that mindset to just make sure that listeners are really engaged and understand that it's okay to be you. Everybody has a voice and there's a place for it, and you can come check me out, email me, DM me, and I'll be glad to put your voice on and see what you can do. I really appreciate my man Dre. We've done some great work together, and I salute everything he's doing, as well as these brothers that's on here, man. It's really a blessing to be in the presence of these fellas.
Hey man, I appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it.
I appreciate that.
Will?
I am a handsome guy named William. I am the creator and the host of the Black Love. There we go. Black Love Renaissance podcast. It's an interview series. I interview black couples, and just trying to restore the feeling, elevate the narrative. One couple at a time. I put it on every streaming platform except Anchor. I just don't like Anchor, so there we go.
Okay. Hey, that's what's up, man. I appreciate you guys, man, for real. I'll put all the links down below right after this live episode, you guys. So for everyone who want to watch the replay, all the links will be down for everyone's podcast, everyone's link tree, and wherever you want to get at them or follow them at. Once again, thank you guys, man. Mario J, I appreciate all the work, man, and everything you have done for the podcast and also coming on. Also, Will and Jay, first time here on the podcast. I love to have you guys back on also in the future episodes. That'll be great. But for everyone who's tuning in, thank you guys for stand up and chatting with us and let us vibe with you, man, for real. Gentleman night here on Beyond 1130. Thank you guys. Before I head on out of here, don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms, on TikTok, Twitter. Subscribe here on YouTube, Instagram, wherever you get your podcasts is at. For real, this has been a great one. Thank you guys so much. For myself, Dre, aka Dre on Wheels, for my guy Mario, Will, and Jay. Until next time, we out, you guys.
Peace.